Timothy Parlatore served as your private attorney, correct?
Correct.
And Mr. Parlatore also served as private attorney for President Trump's campaign, correct?
I'm not privy to every professional position that he's held.
Well, I'll help you out. He did. And you appointed Mr. Parlatore as your senior advisor, correct?
He does reserve duty on behalf of the Navy.
His title is senior as an advisor. You gave him that title, correct?
And I would count him as very much an advisor of mine.
Yep, he travels with you, correct?
Tim Parlatore has been a long-term friend. He's a great patriot.
He travels with you. That's not what I asked. I reclaim my time. He travels with you, doesn't he? He travels with you, doesn't he? Correct? There's public Instagram that shows this. Just say yes.
Yes, of course.
Okay. He sits in meetings with you and advises you, doesn't he?
He sits in some meetings on occasion.
Yeah, well, he maintains a desk in an office in the Pentagon, does he not?
I'd have to check.
You don't know?
It's a big Pentagon.
You directly commissioned Mr. Parlatore in the Naval Reserve as a Navy commander in March 2025, did you not?
I was very proud to do so.
And when you did, because he's a Navy Reserve officer, he didn't have to go through the PPO process, the White House Presidential Personnel Office, right? He wasn't vetted by a White House PPO.
Uniformed service members don't get vetted by.
The answer is yes. He didn't have to be vetted by a White House PPO. He didn't go through the Senate confirmation process either, did he? The answer is no.
I don't know what you're getting to, but Tim is a fantastic.
I'll tell you what I'm getting to. The answer is no, right?
He does great work.
Okay. He didn't maintain a security clearance when you appointed him as special advisor. Is that right?
I'd have to check.
You don't know?
I mean, anybody that has access to sensitive material is going to have the appropriate clearance.
Okay, so when you appointed him as special advisor, he had a security clearance?
You're trying to piece together a timeline.
No, I'm asking a simple question. One of your special, most sensitive advisors, did he have a security clearance?
No, you're playing a gotcha game like you do on TV and everywhere else. You're trying to thread together details that are connected about something else.
Clearly, you're concerned about my line of questioning, aren't you, Mr. Secretary? Because you know where it's going, don't you? I think you do. So, does Mr. Parlatore represent foreign governments? He has a private law practice, does he not?
From what I understand of his law practice, he does a lot of great work for service members in the military and other.
He maintains a private law practice. Does he represent foreign governments or foreign persons in that private law practice?
I don't know.
You don't know. Somebody who's sitting in your meetings, a special advisor, you don't know. Does he represent any senior officers who are currently under consideration for promotion by you or your office?
The only person that makes determinations about senior officers is me.
Answer the question. Does he represent senior officers who are under consideration for promotion by you?
No, I'm the one that makes decisions about choosing.
Does he represent them, Mr. Secretary? Does he represent them?
He doesn't represent anyone. He's a legal advisor and always has been.
But he has clients, does he not?
He's a legal advisor to me on reserve duty, and he always has been, and he does a fantastic job.
Is it true that Mr. Parlatore was removed? I reclaim my time. Is it true that Mr. Parlatore was removed from an investigation by the White House last year?
I don't know what you're referring to, but not that I'm aware of.
You're not aware of it. Was it true that you were also removed from that same investigation? The answer is yes.
No, not that I'm aware of.
You're not aware of it. That's interesting. Well, is it true that Mr. Parlatore disparaged President Trump?
I don't know what you're referring to, but no.
Is it true that Mr. Parlatore was accused by President Trump and his lawyers of lying?
What you're accused of is a cute line of questioning that's going nowhere.
Well, it's going somewhere, which is why you're not answering the question. Was it true that he was accused of lying by the president's legal team?
I'm not familiar to. You'd have to give me the context.
Well, it's right here. You want to look at the statement from President Trump's legal team?
Anybody can blow up a quote and claim it says something, and that's what you're doing in a little stunt.
Secretary Hegseth, what I'm really concerned about is you purport to have unfaltering loyalty to President Trump, and yet you are continuously going.
Oh, you care a lot about President Trump, don't you?
You are going
behind his back. This is a cute waste of your 5 minutes. A huge, cute waste of your 5 minutes that led nowhere.
I reclaim my time. You are repeatedly going behind the president's back.
Gentleman from Colorado's time. Go ahead, Mr. Crow.
You are repeatedly going behind President Trump's back, appointing people who he has accused of lying, who the White House
has
accused of
lying. This looked like a routine personnel oversight exchange. But within minutes, the hearing turned into something far more revealing, a confrontation about loyalty, access to power, security vetting, and whether informal influence inside the Pentagon is operating outside the normal systems of accountability. Representative Jason Crow approached the hearing with a methodical strategy. He did not begin with military operations, budgets, or battlefield decisions. Instead, he focused almost entirely on one person, Timothy Parlatore. That focus mattered because Crow's line of questioning was clearly designed to examine not just who advises Secretary Pete Hegseth, but how influence is exercised inside the Department of Defense itself. Crow established several facts in rapid succession. Parlatore previously served as Hegseth's private attorney. He also represented President Trump's campaign. He was later appointed as a senior advisor. He traveled with Hegseth, attended meetings, and maintained unusually close proximity to Pentagon decision-making. None of those details alone necessarily imply wrongdoing. But congressional oversight often works by assembling patterns rather than proving single violations in real time. Crow appeared to be constructing a larger argument, that a private attorney with extensive political connections may have gained significant influence within the Defense Department while operating through pathways that avoided traditional vetting mechanisms. That is where the hearing became institutionally important. Crow specifically highlighted that Parlatore was directly commissioned into the Naval Reserve as a commander, which meant he did not go through the same White House Presidential Personnel Office review process typically associated with senior political appointments. That distinction is not trivial. Modern administrations rely heavily on formal vetting systems precisely because proximity to national security leadership creates enormous access to sensitive information, policy discussions, and internal influence. The concern underlying Crow's questioning was whether reserve status and advisory roles were being used to create an alternate channel into senior defense leadership without equivalent scrutiny. Hegseth resisted nearly every premise of that argument. Rather than directly answering many of the questions, he repeatedly emphasized Parlatore's patriotism, military service, and effectiveness as an advisor. But the more Crow pressed for precise answers, the more the exchange shifted from oversight into visible frustration. One of the most striking moments came when Crow repeatedly asked whether Parlatore possessed a security clearance at the time of his appointment. Instead of giving a straightforward yes or no, Hegseth accused Crow of playing a gotcha game. That response mattered politically because congressional hearings are often judged less by the questions themselves than by resistance to answering them. Fairly or unfairly, evasiveness can create the appearance that the underlying issue is more serious than leadership wants to acknowledge. Crow then expanded the inquiry further. Did Parlatore represent foreign governments? Did he represent foreign individuals? Did he represent military officers seeking promotion decisions from the same department where he held advisory access? Again, Crow did not present evidence proving conflicts of interest during the hearing itself. But the structure of the questioning suggested concern about overlapping private legal work and public influence inside the Pentagon. This reflects a long-running tension in Washington. Where exactly is the line between trusted advisor and unofficial power broker? Modern administrations frequently rely on informal advisors, personal attorneys, longtime political allies, and outside confidants. Sometimes those relationships increase efficiency and trust. But critics argue they can also blur accountability because informal influence is harder for oversight institutions to track. The hearing became even sharper when Crow referenced allegations involving prior investigations and statements connected to President Trump's legal circles. At that point, the exchange stopped being solely about Pentagon procedure. It became about loyalty. Crow's underlying argument appeared to be this. If Hegseth publicly emphasizes loyalty to President Trump, Why appoint individuals whom Trump allies had reportedly criticized or distrusted in earlier legal disputes? Hegseth rejected the premise entirely and dismissed the questioning as political theater. But the significance of the exchange was larger than partisan conflict. What the hearing exposed was an increasingly important feature of modern government: the growing role of unofficial networks of trust operating alongside formal institutions. Cabinet departments are designed around rules. Confirmation processes, security clearances, ethics disclosures, conflict reviews, chains of accountability. But power in Washington often flows through relationships just as much as formal structures. People trusted personally by senior officials can gain extraordinary influence even without Senate confirmation, public scrutiny, or clearly defined authority. That dynamic exists across administrations of both parties. What made this hearing notable was how directly Crow attempted to force those informal relationships into public view. And that may explain why the exchange became so tense. Because once oversight hearings move beyond policy disagreements and begin examining who actually has influence behind closed doors, the questions become much harder to dismiss as routine politics. The Pentagon is not simply another federal agency. It controls classified information, military operations, promotion systems, procurement decisions, and strategic planning at a global scale. Questions about access inside that institution are never treated lightly. What this hearing ultimately revealed was not proof of misconduct, but a growing congressional concern about whether informal advisory power inside national security institutions is expanding faster than the systems designed to supervise it. And that debate is unlikely to end with this hearing. Because in every administration, regardless of party, the same question eventually returns. Who actually exercises power behind the scenes, and who is accountable? When they do, what do you think? Should close personal advisors inside national security agencies face the same vetting and transparency requirements as formally appointed officials, or does every administration need trusted unofficial advisors to function effectively? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you value deep congressional breakdowns that go beyond headlines and examine how power actually operates inside Washington, subscribe to Capitol Oversight for more long-form oversight analysis and hearing coverage.